Okay, the first thing we're going to do today is I'm going to cut felt to line the box. So that's what I'm going to do first. Now I've taken this box and measured it, and I measure the side. It's 2.5 inches, and it's 2.5 inches all the way around. So I wrote that down, 2.5. Then I measure across, and it's 7.5. So I wrote that down, and then I measured it this way, and it's about 5.25. So I wrote that down. So since this is 2.5 and this is 2.5, that's 5 inches that I need to add to the 7.5 and the 4.5. So I have 12.5 inches by 10.25 inches. So I'm going to measure that on my felt. Go around.
Okay, measure that on all sides.
Just 2 steps. Then I'm going to cut like a square. It's going to look like a square. Then I'm going to take my box. Okay, push this in. I'm going to fold the sides in that I cut. So they kind of overlap. And then I'm going to bring the edges up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my glue. I don't like to glue the bottom because the bottom gets lumpy with the glue. So just put a thin coat of glue on the sides, and then just push your material against the wood.
Very cool. Now, if you were telling me to line this box without explaining how to do that, I would never think of how to cut it all apart. It's almost like an envelope.
Yeah. Okay, now I've got a little bit extra material. That's okay. Because what we're going to do then is we're just going to take the scissors and cut it off. So a little extra material is not a big deal. Shells. You're going to pick out a box? You're going to do a box?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, here's our shells. Then we have the other little adornments.
And I've got these too.
Over here, we've got pearls, we've got initials, we've got dice, we got things that look like candy hearts. We got all kinds of stuff here.
Okay.
So
I've got flowers in here.
So we're gonna start picking out our shells to see what kind of thing we want to do.
More flowers.
And it doesn't really matter where you place them. I'm placing mine because the box has this pretty trim on it. you know, like a frame. I'm gonna try and put all my shells inside that frame so we can do broken ones.
Okay. Can you give me that black box and then do that? Thank you. You don't have to line this up. It's already got the belt in it.
Oh, okay.
Try it a few times, so I don't have to worry about that.
Okay, the best thing to do is to take the bigger shells that you have and do the bigger shells first, because you can always fill in with this. Okay, I'm ready to start gluing. You can be generous with the glue. Don't worry about the glue. The glue's going to dry kind of clear anyway, so. And it's not drying fast enough so that you can't rearrange this stuff a little bit if you don't like what you. Okay. And a broken shell is kind of fun because then you can stuff it with treasures. And you can even put some of the shells upside down. Put some shells upside down so that they can hold treasures too. So now I'm going to take hands full of stuff here and just see where I can put some pieces around here. Need some other little shells. We got some little tiny shells, and we always have to have a pearl and a shell. We'll put that pearl right there in that shell. See if we get another something we can put in that shell. Yeah, you can use what you know, if you want to do something with sea glass or some clay, or if you have anything, some kind of a memory token, a broken earring, or whatever you think you might want to stick in here, it's fine. Now I'm going to fill in a couple of these spaces here. I have some beads that are loose. You see they're rolling around, but as soon as I put the Mod Podge on it, they'll tighten up. So I'm not going to worry about the things being too loose right now, but I'm just going to fill in the spaces where I want to put some more beads in. Okay, you get to do yours now.
Yeah. So, in our class, that would be, you would make it this far on the first step, and then we let it sit for a week, and then when we come back, we would be able to tip it up and look at it and do everything, and then we would put the Mod Podge on it.
Wow. Right, these are the boxes that we've done.
Very good.
Okay, we're glued and we're ready to put our Mod Podge on. We still have some loose pieces on here, but our large Mod Podge will get everything all glued together. So all we're going to do is take our, I like to use a sponge brush because it's easy to wash out. And all this stuff is, this is water, based, so it's easy cleanup. That's probably one reason why we don't have paper down. So, and then I just dab it on here. It's gonna dry clear. Yeah, things moving around, but that's okay. It's gonna seal itself. This happens to be glossed, so all our shells are going to be nice and glossy. And don't worry about stuff moving around, it's okay. If this stuff moves around, just keep... I just dab it on, so it's not a big deal. It depends on how thick your coats are. If your coats are thick, it's going to take over an hour. If your coats are thin, it should take 15 to 20 minutes. Keep a wet rag near you so that you can clean up little edges if you kind of smear it. That way you get a nice even line. And it's going to look kind of funny when you're doing it. It's going to look very, pretty white, but this dries really clear. So it'll have a whole different effect once it's dry. And this is just making sure that everything that you stuck on here is going to stick together. So that's all the Mod Podge is going to do for you. So I got a lot of stuff moving around, but that's going to change as soon as all this stuff dries. It's going to change.